Hi, this is Nest by Sarabin, and this is part 2 of today with the succulents. And I'm downstairs in the basement. The last one I showed you was the burro's tail, also called donkey tail. And the succulent I'm going to put out at the park. Now, I haven't been out there to see if they're all gone, but I have a bunch of samples of Gasteria. There's tons different varieties of Gasteria, so you can see that this one is a little bit different than that one. I think that one is oxtail. This is an older one called Little Warty. Let's see, I've got it named here. This is what a moisture meter is to kind of give you an idea if the soil is moist or dry. And as you can see here, I haven't watered this for a while. I'm waiting for it to get completely dry before I water it again. And that way it will prevent root rot. That's the last thing you want is root rot. The other thing you have to look for on succulents is mealy bugs. Mealy bugs are little white specks. And this one, I've been having trouble with mealy bugs quite a bit. But it looks like you can actually just use a little bit of alcohol and water diluted. I've got it right here. And you put that on with a cotton swab and that can remove it, but you definitely want to take it somewhere else so it doesn't infect all your other plants. But this Gasteria, I've got this other book. We looked at that other cacti book. This is a book called Prick, Cacti and Succulents, Choosing, Styling, Caring. And I'm going to turn it to the page for Gasteria. Now this is a different variety. This actually looks kind of like the one that I have here. But they're all in the same family. So you'll find that there's different varieties, kind of species-like, of cactuses, and then there's a bunch of them will fall within that. But just to give you an idea, you're going to kind of treat it the same way as, all the Gasterias. And it says they're related to the aloe plant. The succulent's mostly green with smooth leaves covering in white tubercles. It is unusual in shape and form, with thick leaves growing laterally and younger ones forming perpendicular to them, creating an attractive clump. Many are beautiful variegated hybrids exist, and the plant prefers half shade. So preferably, I've got this probably at a little bit too much sun because I have it under grow lights. It probably could use a little bit less shade, but I do have the grow lights on a timer to mimic what the sun's doing outside. So, and when they were talking about the growth patterns, how it grows perpendicular, this is what they mean by a clump. See here? And when you have one of these, if you're able to bring it home and it does well, again, you don't want to overwater it. You want to make sure you water it and then let it completely dry out before you water more. And use the succulent mix like I showed you before. That succulent mix, never use regular fertilizer. You always want to use fertilizer like cactus plant food. And they do go dormant. Different varieties go dormant at different times. So you don't want to fertilize all the time. And then when you want to these I thought were very easy to propagate. If you pull this up right here, you can see these little babies right next to it. So see how they come apart. If I wanted to propagate this, all I'd have to do is take that out, let it dry out a little bit. I would put it up here and let it dry out a little bit. I'll put it over here. Let it dry out a little bit and then put it in soil and you'll have another plant, just like I did with these. Sometimes you're able to separate this root ball out. I don't have a tripod or anything. I'm no real YouTuber yet. I'd like to be, but I'm getting better every one. But if you're able to pull off a whole clump and a little bit of the roots, they'll do even better. But that's how I got all these, is basically just taking a bigger clump and separating it apart and just being patient with it. Like I say, some of these are 6 months old. And if you give them enough sun, this one, like I say, is partial shade. In a windowsill would be perfect. Just make sure it's in a pot with drain holes. If you're worried about getting soil, put it in a little saucer. And if you don't want your soil to come through, I found this in the in the alley, some window screen, and I just cut a little hole in it, and I can put those in the bottom of these little containers, and that keeps soil from going through the drainage holes. So I think that's it. Um, I'm going to go out to the park here in a little bit and see if anybody has taken the burro's tails and replace them with some of these Gasterias. So make a plan a friend, and you have a great day.